Okay, so I'm documenting the process, okay? The process is I live in this house, this rental. I've been renting here for about 3 years now. I'm going on 3 years. So I started renting here then, and I've made friends with the neighbors, and my kids have been with me half the time. I'm divorced and have kids. Had them 50% of the time, and then this year, the two older ones are in high school, and the younger one is in 7th grade, and they wanted to stay with their mom and their house primarily, and only visiting every other weekend. So right now I've got them every other weekend at 4 nights a week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every other weekend, which really decreases the amount of time. But it's been good quality time when we're together. So it's not that bad. So it makes me think, well, I want to get out of this financial situation. And I also want to start doing something new. I've always loved YouTube channels and van builds, and I've always loved vans. I have a van, and I've always had vans. So I want to get out of this financial situation. I want to, minimize. I want to have no mortgage or no rent. I pay $15.50 on this house every month. So I've thrown away, in 3 years, it's going to be my 4th year. As I'm building this tiny home, I'm actually going to build a tiny home on wheels. I've got a friend in Florida. I live in Minnesota. I have a friend in Florida and a brother and family in Arizona. So I'm going to try to figure out which place to build the tiny home in the winter, and then when in the spring, bring it back up here. Now the way it works is I have a small business. So I own natural stone masonry, and I am very flexible with what I can do. Little update, I found a guy in Tucson, Arizona who is interested in having me, or someone, rent some space from him. He wants to do a tiny build. He's from Wisconsin. He knows how it's difficult to, don't you like that sun ray in there? How it's difficult to deal with the cold in the winter. He's in Tucson. My brother and his family lives in Phoenix. Yeah, so it sounds like a good match. He has all the equipment, but I'm going to use my own tools. I should probably mention that when I talk to him. But yeah, I've got his phone number, so I'm probably going to give him a call today. And that will be great to plan that out. Something I want to do is build, I want to frame it with aluminum, the steel framing or metal framing. It's lightweight, and I was watching some videos on how to make it sturdy. And after watching some videos, I've got an idea of how I can do it myself. It's going to be in sections. So the lower walls underneath the windows will be one section. Each section on the sides of the windows and doors will be other sections. So I'll put them up in sections like that, and each one will be braced a lot. Super, super lightweight compared to wood, and it's going to be super sturdy. My girlfriend's brother lives in Wisconsin, not too far from here, and I could probably rent some space out there in one of their barns. They have a big barn, a couple big barns, and I don't think they use them in the winter except for storage, and they have horses and cows and chickens and stuff. So my place would be vacant here in Minnesota, plus I do have kids, 3 kids, and I want to see them over the winter. And plus I would need work coming in, so my employee has work. And then that would work best, I think. I've been looking around on Craigslist for places like storage places, barns, things like that. Not much out there. All of these guys are trying to store boats and things like that for the winter, which is a really good business. But they don't have space to rent out for a tiny home build. The thing is, I need a big, tall roof for a tiny home build. You know, when I build it, I gotta pull it out of this place, and it's gotta be able to come out of the barn. So in the winter, there's gonna be, you know, I can propane heat the inside of that barn, just enough to keep me from freezing too much. The materials I'm going to be using will be metal and other materials which probably won't warp in the cold. I will use wood, but not until it's all encased. So, as you can see, I'm thinking. I'm doing my research, which is watching YouTube videos. That's research, and go online, but it's all coming together in my head. Another thing an advantage that I have in building a tiny home like this is that I am a builder, and I do building myself. I construct, remodel bathrooms and things like that, so I do have experience with electrical and all that stuff. The nice thing about a tiny home, I don't have to pull any permits. I do have a builder's license, and I do have experience, so I don't have to pull any permits for a little tiny home. It's off the grid, man. I'm gonna be living off the grid. That's the whole point. You build a place that you can live off the grid, and it can be completely self-sufficient. The fall is the best. I don't know if you can see these lovely trees out there, but it's gorgeous. Thanks for watching this video. So follow me on this little dream journey and watch this dream come true.